Beans and Dice Podcast. State your name. Where are you calling from?
Hey, this is Chris calling from Austin. How you doing?
Hello, Chris from Austin. Thanks for calling the show.
Just wanted to get some feedback from you guys to see if you were to design a board game, what theme and mechanisms would you incorporate into your board game?
That's a great question. These are the calls I like.
That's a big, hard-hitting topic. Gosh. Man. Well, let me just say, I've always people in this hobby always talk about this, and people have. Again, I consider myself still fairly new to the hobby, even though Carlos introduced it to me
15 years ago now. Rob, you can't say you're new anymore.
I'm still new to the hobby, so I'm not a hardcore one. But I have told people I have absolutely no interest in designing a game. There are people way smarter than me with degrees and all kinds of crazy stuff that design games. Yeah, I mean, I love playing games. I consider myself a pretty decent gamer. But gosh, I mean, this is a real tough one for me because, I mean, I've got my favorite mechanisms. I can tell you what my favorite mechanisms are. I can tell you what my favorite themes are. But as far as if I was to design something, gosh, I don't know. I'd have to really think about it. But if you guys chime in here, if you have
that was
thoughts,
a lot of nothing. Words.
A lot of nothing. That was a lot of nothing. Yeah. I had to put that out there. But I'll think about it while these guys talk. But
Wayno. I tend to like the medieval theme. Anything medieval, ancient world. I like that. And
you love those games that have the ugly guy, the ugly white guy on the cover.
The ugly white guy on the cover. Yeah, I've been gaming. Yeah, so I mean, I think if you think about like set collection or like with an engine builder, right? So where you're like, and this is what this was, right? So you're collecting sets of cards, and you're building an engine. You're putting out your settlements. You're building up an area, and similarly, you look at Castles of Burgundy. You're building an engine to score points, and you're doing so by building settlements. I like viticulture. You're building buildings. You're building out your winery to then build an engine to score points. And so, like, I like games like that where I'm building something. I'm not a huge engine builder though. So like what's the time of the world? Whatever, not history of the world. The
Tracking the World.
No. The one where you have 4
we'll come
rounds
back to you, Chris.
And you're playing the cards and they have the tags on it. Anyway, I'm not a big one with like tags, like Terraforming Mars and stuff like that. I like Terraforming Mars, like not Mosaic.
Oh, okay.
It's a Wonderful World. There we go.
There you go.
Wonderful World. Like that. Like
okay.
I don't know. It's almost like it loses me, and like I can't think about like what's. I need to. I don't know. So I don't like that kind of stuff. But I like building a world, building a tableau, or building not tableau necessarily, but building something, and then using that to score points. So building structures, So Crusaders, you're moving across, you're building your buildings as you move, and you're using those to score points. So those kind of things, and something like that is that was. If you look at my top 5 or 6 games, they're all that same. It's in my wheelhouse.
I think I'm with Wayne on that one. My favorite games, unabashedly, I like games about colonialism. I mean, I grew up in Puerto Rico and then Florida, and a lot of our architecture, a lot of our buildings have to do with the Spanish. St. Augustine with the fort there, Puerto Rico's with I love that time period, learning about it, the history of it. 1600s, 1700s, learning about. So it has to be a history game, but it has to be Age of Sail. It has to be spreading your civilization out, spreading your influence out. I really love that feeling.
Yeah.
But I like engine building.
And that's like brass. You're building, spreading out influence.
A network or so. So when even if you lose, you can sit back and look and see.
You did
it is mine.
You built a thing.
I built this thing.
You took a thing. Yeah.
But I wouldn't know. I think mechanism wise, I don't know. Engine building, I don't think is a mechanism in a sense because you can do it so many different ways.
Right.
But I love that feeling of getting better at what I do, so that at the end of the game, I'm doing much better.
It's almost like we got to come up with multiple ways of saying engine builder because an engine builder can mean different things.
Right. In different ways.
All right. Your 2 cents, Mike. Mike.
First top thing on my list is asymmetrical powers. You guys know that.
That's big for me.
I love that. Having powers that nobody else has at the table that you can kind of directs the way that you play a game, depending on like who you might get dealt if you're like playing a certain character or something. Next on my list is I love combo-rific games, like anything that can. And I don't know. I guess that's the way my mind works, where I can look down and say, okay, well, if I do this and it's going to allow me to do this and it's going to give me 3 of those, which is going to let me buy that. And I can just create this huge, spread of things that I did from this one move at the beginning. It makes you feel smart and it makes you feel good at the end of it, when you figure it out. Those are easily my top 2. If I had to pick a third, deck building. I know it's been played out a lot. Don't get me wrong, I know that, but if you can get a good deck builder, it's just something that lets you mitigate your crap cards easy and build up a really good hand. That it's a delicate line that you walk, because you don't want something so powerful it's just going to wipe everybody else out at the table too fast. So it's hard to control that. But those would be my top 3 things I would want in a game. But what about you, Chris? What do you got?
Well, on the heels of the first question, do you enjoy simultaneous action selection in your games?
Yes.
I do.
Yeah. It reduces the downtime. I
Yes.
mean, that's a big plus. Keeps
Yeah.
everybody involved.
Yeah.
Hopefully you're watching what other people
That's
are
the
doing.
piece I missed to talk about Concordia, how snappy it was. It
Yeah.
was so fast.
Quick turns.
A game that can be quick and simultaneous action selection can help make that happen.
Yeah, totally. Like for me, just decreasing the downtime of the game, increasing the player interaction. It's one of my favorite mechanisms for sure. Like a couple examples: Terraforming Mars, Ares Expedition, Heat Pedal the Metal, one of my newer favorites.
Yep.
Race for the Galaxy, obviously, Gloomhaven. I just love the interaction, the lack of downtime. You're always involved. You're always engaged. It's just a fun one. And then for me, worker placement's always a good one. Deck building, a lot of the ones you mentioned, tableau building, engine building, all of you guys mentioned are also my favorites. But I was thinking today about the simultaneous action selection. I was like, man, that's probably one of my favorites that I don't even think about, but I just love it.
Yeah.
And I like the ones like simultaneous actions, and then when the follow action.
Yeah.
Is another new one that's getting a lot like
Oh, yeah.
Earth
Yes.
has it, and, like
I mean, that's Tiny Epic Galaxies.
Right,
That's
that follow is
Heroes
cool, yeah.
of Land, Air, and Sea. I love that Gamelin Games does that. Has been doing that follow mechanism.
Scott Holmes.
And especially, Scott Holmes as the designer. Thank you. Especially when you have to pay for it and you have a limited resource
Gotta make
of when you
decisions.
can follow. So do I follow now, or do I count on Rob doing the thing that I need him to do?
TI4, one of your favorites. Yeah, you got to
Right.
make that decision. You got limited resources. I got to spend a resource
Good
every time I
call
want
on
to
the follow.
Yeah.
That is a fun mechanism.
That's a good one. Yep.
Thanks for watching the Beans and Dice podcast. Don't forget to like and subscribe.